we spent the past couple of years in a crazy hot market. Louisville home sales decline as demand outpaces supply. Effective communication is at the core of any situation. If you master these two ideas, you'll have a chance of being successful at residential real estate marketing. I think you need to be looking for investment opportunities that move the needle. The market will never crash if demand exceeds supply. This is what I've been telling you all along.
This is the Jay Pitts Show. And we're back, folks. Welcome back to the Jay Pitts Show. I'm your host, Jay Pitts. Always excitable to open the show. It's funny, I look over at Ryan and sometimes at Hannah, and they're both like, whoa. Because
that's me getting into my
into your happy
podcasting form.
Okay. You know, it's funny because we go from dead silence, just to give you a little behind the scenes, a little dead silence, and Hannah quietly and calmly counting me in, and then there's like boisterous voice. All of a sudden, she's the only one wearing headphones in here, so I can only imagine what it's like for her. But anyway, nevertheless, we are back. We are excited, of course.
Like, got to interrupt you. It's like, what's the new Planet of the Apes that's out? What's it called?
I have no idea.
Whatever. It looks really good. I want to go see it, but it's been coming across like my social media algorithm, and all the actors in it that played the apes, they are literally like in character the whole time they're on set. So even when they're not filming, just to stay in that character, they're like, they call it aping.
Are they in costume?
No. It's like they wear all that CGI stuff, like all the little dots on them.
But they act.
But they walk around and they act. They're basically become an ape for like months.
That's wild. You know, method acting is something that has always been crazy, like interesting to me.
Yeah.
You know, they say when and I'm gonna blank.
The guy that played Elvis had to like hire a voice coach to get over his Elvis
to go back to normal.
Yeah.
So the one I was going to talk about was Andy Kaufman, Jim Carrey and Andy Kaufman on, was it Far Side of the Moon maybe or something like that. Anyway, Jim Carrey played him, and like famously, Jim Carrey apparently method acted for like 3 months while they were shooting.
Yeah.
Like he would not respond.
I think I saw
to
that.
Jim.
Yeah.
They would have to call him Andy to get him to respond. Like another one that was crazy was the guy who played Johnny Cash in Walk the Line. What was his name? He was in Gladiator. He played the Emperor. He just kind of a tortured individual. Joaquin Phoenix? Is it Joaquin Phoenix?
Don't know.
I think it is. We need Hannah to Google it. No, anyway. No, I that's always been very interesting to me. Probably not interesting to our listeners that are here to hear real estate, but I always thought it was crazy interesting.
I don't know. Real estate agents probably sometimes go into method acting.
You go into method acting.
I mean, I could see people acting
real
the way they actually aren't in listing appointments.
I will say this. I cannot watch real estate shows. I will not. They make me violently angry.
I used to, I don't like them either. It's mostly like the HGTV ones.
Selling Sunset is awful.
It is, but if my wife likes it, and it's not really anything real estate, to be honest. It's more real reality TV drama, and there are sick houses on there.
I think that the houses are sick, but that's the problem for me. Like it was the same problem with like $1 million listing or whatever, $1 million agent or whatever the shows were. Like it puts us in such a bad place. It paints us in such a terrible light. Here we are sitting like, post NAR settlement talking about the value of agents and the perception. I think it's gone probably a long way to painting the perception that the consumer holds of us being underqualified and overpaid. And it's inspired people to get in the industry in order to be overpaid and underqualified.
Yeah.
And so anyway, all that aside, I don't want to be like boohoo right now, but I cannot watch them because they are so unrealistic.
Yeah. I'm surprised nobody's done a show just themselves on YouTube with just like a regular real estate brokerage. Like so Barstool does this thing called Stool Scenes every week.
Yeah.
Where they intro it with the music from The Office, and it's just they record everything that happens at the office, the beefs, like everything going on, and they publish a show every week. I think it'd be kind of cool to do that here.
I think it would be.
We could start fake beefs.
I mean, that's the thing. Like when you observe, and we find ourselves doing it. Let's just be real. We do a podcast. We want to have things to talk about. Like, I think and we're going to do some Would You Rather later on the episode, but like that, all that kind of started, I think, was inspired by like we saw like some forwards that we thought were funny, and we talked to some of our buddies around in the office, and everybody had like interesting takes and answers, and we're like, man, this is kind of actually fun to talk about. But like you have to be honest that when you're doing something to be seen, you putting out content, you do go beyond where you would normally go in reality.
Yes.
So like I'm sure once upon a time when these shows started, realism was the goal, but then you consistently have to one-up yourself in order to garner attention, and so before you know it, there's no reality to it at all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Selling Sunset has a permanent filter on the screen. Yeah. Like you can just tell when they are filming the people, like not only are they in full makeup, but there's a filter on the whole entire screen.
So they're in makeup, and then they're made up on top of their
Actually,
makeup.
I'd like to see what I look like with all that.
Oh,
I
man.
bet it'd be pretty good.
Yeah, like permanent filter. Like we talked about like the AI filters that you can get now, like a minute ago off air. Do you? Let's be honest. If you ever see like on a TikTok, if you ever see a guy use the like glamour filters, do you judge?
Oh yeah.
But you don't judge the women for using it, probably.
Let me say this: I would judge somebody I know, especially if they're my buddy, more. Like I would text them like, "Dude,
what are you doing?
Yeah, let's."
Your face don't look like that.
Yeah.
It's like if I came in one day with no gray in my beard.
Kind of ugly now.
If I came in one day with no gray in my beard whatsoever, and it was very clear that I colored it, you guys would probably never let me live it.
Oh, it'd be weird.
But anyway, all right, I digress. Let's move on to something a little more productive. I want to remind you guys something we talked in last week's episode. Just a quick reminder of an event that we're putting on, Resource Live. It is coming here in a few weeks. I suppose it's more like a month out, month and a half. We're about 45 days out. August 15th, Resource Live at the Gaines Lodge at the Parklands at Floyd's Fork. We have two national speakers, Miss Debbie Holloway with the Tom Ferry organization, also former #1 real estate agent in the city of Louisville, and also Jason Pantana, real estate kind of tech AI expert, national speaker for the Tom Ferry organization, my personal coach who's going to be delivering a keynote. We're also going to be doing an agent panel. It also comes with a light breakfast and a box lunch, networking, Q&A, the whole nine. Basically just like our way of doing like a really, really nice internal training for the agents here at RPP, but we do have a limited and select number of seats available for outside agents. If you are licensed, if you are in the Louisville metro area and you would like to attend, you can reach out to me directly. Actually had an individual reach out this morning, and we're going to get them confirmed, but would love to see you. Like-minded individuals are welcome in the room. There will be no recruiting or sales pitch or anything like that. Just come and hear a couple of good speakers, hear some great agents talk about their business. We'll talk about everything from ChatGPT to, charisma and
AI.
AI. We're going to talk about NAR settlement probably. We're going to talk about a lot of things pertinent to the high-producing real estate agent or team member or team leader in today's climate. So reach out to me through DMs on any of the socials, or if you have my cell, text me. It's very easy to Google and find my email address if you prefer that. But you better act fast because we're going to fill up those seats pretty quickly. And, it should be a great event.
Yeah, and I'll say, I'm sure there's people listening like, well, why are you doing this if it's no recruiting? Well, I feel pretty confident answering this for you. It's because the more better agents there are, it makes all of us look better.
For sure.
Like, we want good agents in the city of Louisville.
Oh, for sure.
I don't think new agents are bad agents. They're agents that are learning. It's the agents that have been bad agents for a while. Let's have more good agents. And
I mean, I can probably do one better than that, Ryan. To be frank, just 1,000% transparency. I want to be surrounded by people that look at this industry the same way I do.
Mm-hmm.
And if that means that at some point they wake up in the place that they are, the brokerage that they're with, and they're not happy and they want to make me their first call, then fantastic. Okay. You're not going to make that call unless you know who I am and what I'm about. So I'm all for inviting people to come see what we're about.
Yeah.
Okay. What I'm telling you is that there won't be a recruiting pitch.
Yeah.
That you're not going to get put in a CRM and you're not going to get drip emails afterwards and you're not going to get calls from me trying to badger you to leave your brokerage. That is not me. Anybody that knows me knows that's not me. But yeah, everything we do is marketing ourselves. So I'm not going to pretend that's not the case. So
speaking of getting put in a drip campaign, I don't think there's anything more annoying than when you close a deal with another agent and you end up in their marketing emails. Like, what are you doing?
Do you know how many times? Well, and they all subscribe to the same Constant Contact like holiday drip campaign, and it's like I end up on like when the time changes, when it's daylight savings time, getting 9 of the same exact email from different real estate agents. And it's even more funny and obvious and sad when it's like 9 agents of the same company because the company provides this free canned program that they all just sign up for.
Yep.
And it's like, do you realize how bad this looks? Like, it's awful.
Super annoying too.
So anyway, Resource Live, it'll be a great event. If you're interested in one of those few remaining seats, reach out. We'll get you added to the list.
Cool. All right.
Moving
There we go. So a few small things first. The basketball tournament. We've talked about that. There's
TBT?
a Louisville team. There's a Bellarmine team this year.
They play each other in the
I
first
think
round.
we maybe should have sponsored.
Maybe.
That would have been a cool game to
Because they're opening against
Louisville.
one another.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
we might still be able to. I might reach out now, actually knowing the schedule. But
there may be people thinking the same thing you're thinking.
yeah, I saw that. Pretty cool.
Pretty cool stuff. I saw Braden Hobbs was playing. That's pretty cool. Braden was
National
MVP
champion
of the national championship team, which was like,
Was that while you were there?
No. It was well after, dude. You forget how old I am. I think that was like 2012, and I graduated in 04.
I just complimented you.
Yeah, that's okay. You make me feel young. Yeah, I want to say it was 2012. I don't know. It would have been 2012 because my wife was working at Bellarmine at the time. And our first child was born 2011, 2012. It would have been right around that area. But no, Braden was there. He's a great player, had a great overseas career. Will be exciting to see him play. Also, Chris Jones playing for U of L.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed, but Chris
I
Jones
am unguardable.
He
It's his Twitter.
he was great last year in playing against U of L.
Yeah.
In the TBT, so it was nice to see them get him. I think he only played at U of L 1 year, so I think he was
a grad transfer.
He was there. Well, yeah, maybe I don't know. I know he sat out a year and then played at least 1 year. He might have played 2, but yeah, it should be fun. That was a fun time last year. A lot of nostalgia. We took the family and went to the game that U of L lost. Shouldn't have lost. It was nice watching some of those old names make a decent little run. It was nice to see who can still play.
Yeah.
But like, man, not to get too deep into it, but the last 10 minutes of that game were brutal to watch. Terrible. Like they couldn't.
It was like Louisville baseball losing a few years ago in the Super Regional with the Grand Slam.
Yeah.
You remember watching that game?
I did, and it's just I don't know. It was unwatchable. They could not put a ball in the basket. Like that's it. They were so tired that the age definitely showed in the second half. So, well, I mean, sure they're better off than I would be, but it was tough. I felt
cool, man. So moving on, I had this kind of realization this morning. You and I played golf last Thursday, and I talked to you about like golf's this really cool thing now. Obviously, everybody loves it, but I think like why people are falling in love with it, it's like one of the few like quantitative things in life that like outside of really work or anything else you do, like you can practice, you have a score, you can get better if that's what you want to do.
Interesting.
And that's why I love running. Like you can set a goal, you can train for it, you can go test your goal. You can't really do that with weightlifting unless you do like powerlifting or something, which just like not many people are going to do that. So like golf and running. And you know what I think relates a lot to that is being a real estate agent.
For sure.
I think that's why being a real estate agent, so many people fall in love with it. It's very quantitative. Like end of the year, throughout the year, you can measure how you're doing, what kind of difference are you making, are you doing well, are you doing not. A lot of jobs that people have, real estate, they're entrepreneurs, but a lot of jobs, you don't have that there.
Well, I agree. I come from a baseball background. That was my primary sport. Baseball is now more than ever a numbers sport. And I mean, from there, Ryan, I start thinking, I think this is why real estate draws a lot of ex-athletes.
Mm-hmm.
That quantitative, like tracking, goal setting, accountability, really appeals to the brain and the mind and the way that athletes approach anything mentally, right? I agree. Weightlifting is another example. Running is another example. But those things are not reachable to all walks of life, right? In your 70s, you can still swing a golf club in most cases, but putting 225 on the bench is just not in the cards for you. Running a marathon is probably not in the cards for you when you're 70, but you can probably play 9 holes and ride in the cart and get some exercise, get in the fresh air. And it is quantitative, and there is a goal that you can set. I mean, golf kind of takes it to the next level with like a published handicap where you identify yourself by what you are. So that is quite interesting. And I agree. Real estate is what I transferred my competitive energy to after I got out of sports, competitive sports. It's what kind of probably interests me in golf now, because I'm at a place in my life where I have a competitive energy, but frankly, lifting weights does too. And no, I'm not trying to bench 500 pounds, but like incremental goal setting and goal sprints and things like that, they do really help.
Yeah, no,
it helps keep your interest in things.
Just something to thought of, like basically everything I do in my life is quantitative, which I think is amazing. For some, it might stress some people out.
It really does. It doesn't appeal to everyone.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know people that don't do things because they don't want to judge themselves based on numbers.
Yeah.
They would rather, I would say maybe more artistic personalities, like an artist doesn't value themselves by the price their paintings bring.
Yeah.
The art is the art to them. And if they have a business manager that helps them sell their paintings so that they can live, well, yeah, of course, they hire that person who's more quantitative in nature so that they can live a life they want to live doing something they love.
Mm-hmm.
But the art doesn't have value to them based on how much it will bring.
Yeah. I have no artistic ability about
None.
me, but I wish I could become one of those artists that think of like a strange way to make a painting that nobody's thought of before. Like those people, the first people that put a mop in a paint bucket and just fling it at a canvas and then sell it for thousands of dollars.
Have you seen the pendulum art clips on?
Yep.
That stuff fascinates me.
There's a new one I've seen.
What is it?
So you go to a forest or just a park, you find a big long stick, dip it in paint, and smack the canvas with it.
Oh, wow.
And they actually look incredible.
That's
like
wild.
They show them hung up in like really expensive homes, but like I could do that art.
I've seen
you just got to think of it.
I really enjoy the like you see they tie a paint bucket to a string and then like drive a nail through the bottom of the bucket and then swing it.
Uh-huh.
And the canvas is just on the floor and it's just like, I don't know. It's just cool to me. I don't know. I probably wouldn't pay money for it, but I enjoy watching it.
There's just like the videos on my algorithm that just serve no good purpose for me, but I watch them. And the carpet cleaning videos. I don't know if you've seen any of those.
Oh, for sure. It's therapeutic.
Yeah, it's like 100-year-old carpet, and they clean it for an hour.
And then they clean it, and you're like, whoa, that's like an actual print.
I've had carpet shaving ones on my feed where it's just like a fuzzy carpet, and they shave it off, and it becomes a short carpet.
I mean, it's like,
Okay, really riveting.
Yeah, riveting stuff. We're going to move on.
All right, let's go to this Twitter thread. So,
okay.
let me see who this guy is. So, lives in Louisville, Kentucky. I was actually didn't know if he was a real estate agent or not. I don't think he is. But he said how to save downtown Louisville in 5 steps. So let's go through each step and see what you think about this.
Okay, how to save downtown Louisville in 5 steps.
Yep. So the first one opens up with a picture of the downtown parking. So it says 1, make surface parking lots illegal. 30% of downtown is currently parking lots. Nobody wants to walk next to a hot, dirty, and dangerous parking lot. It's the least productive land use and adds little to the tax toll. So here's the picture for reference. It's just showing basically just parking lots downtown, which is kind of weird for a downtown area when you think of other big cities.
Well, I think it's reflective of the fact that we don't have the foot traffic that most large downtowns have. I mean, I'm sure you've run into this. Like, people that don't know much about or anything about Louisville are shocked to know that we have a downtown in a lot of cases. They're like, "Oh, you have a real downtown." Like, so anyway, surface lots are reflective of the fact that I think I disagree with from a tax perspective. I mean, the companies operating the surface lots pay a lot of tax dollars. A lot is relative, but they do pay taxes.
And I'll give this guy on. Sorry, I just want to shout out Smark Riley, SmarkReilly on Twitter.
Okay, so it's not an invasive use of the land. Okay, so you're not creating a lot of pollution, but you're not creating a lot of commerce either. But so what are you going to do with them? What are you going to do with them? Like, you gonna
Well, I guess people would
devalue them to the point that they have to be sold off to developers, and then developers have to find a use for them. I mean, so I'm anxious
suck
to
for
see,
the people who own them.
I'm anxious to see. Okay, beyond this one to the other 4. Okay. You said 5 ways.
Yep.
Well, it's just because a substantial portion of downtown office is vacant. And we know that there is no downtown residential base to speak of in the central business district, which is what I'm assuming we're talking about. So, like, I don't buy this, because I don't know what you're going to do with them. You can't poof. Now we have demand.
Yeah. All right, let's go to number 2. So,
real quick, before you move on, I'm going to tell you the surface parking lot is the equivalent of the farmer, okay, that owns a farm on the edge of town that continues to basically do subsistence level farming, waiting for development to sprawl into their farm so that they can sell off in retirement for development. Like, these people are taking a minimal amount of income without erecting a structure that would require demolition. They're hoping that demand for land gets high enough that somebody buys it to build a building. Right? But if there was a demand for the building, it would already be there.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? We have a hard enough time getting our downtown attractions supported as it is. I mean, the Yum Center and restaurants surrounding the Yum Center, Slugger Field to an extent. But outside of that, like, I mean, I don't know.
Most people just like Uber downtown too.
Yeah. So anyway, go ahead.
Number 2, every street should be 2 ways. 2-way streets are safer. They reduce collisions for drivers, cyclists, pedestrians, reduce crime by decreasing auto theft and robberies, bolster commercial districts by raising property values and increasing visibility.
See, I don't know that all of those assumptions hold water, but I agree with this.
One-way streets are so stupid.
So one-way streets are designed, in my understanding, to promote traffic flow and prevent traffic jams. And I can't imagine that we have enough traffic through downtown on a daily basis that it slows down enough to require one-way streets.
Yeah, and then, like, once again, think of a big city that has a great downtown. There's traffic. That is what it is. when you have a successful downtown, there's going to be traffic.
I agree. And if I suppose you're going to increase visibility probably on most streets by making them two ways, because people aren't going to avoid purposefully certain areas based on the direction they go.
I'd be interested to know why. I'm sure there are studies out there that show it reduces crime, but I wonder why.
Well, carjacking seems to me like it would be harder on a two-way street.
Just because cars coming
Because
both ways.
there's cars coming from both directions.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, carjackings typically happen at intersections while you wait to go. But if all the cars are going the same direction and there's no fear of like an opposing traffic, like hitting you while you're trying to jack a car, I can only imagine that makes it go down. I'm trying to put my head where this guy's at, but I don't like I said in the beginning, I don't know that I can grant him all these assumptions, but it seems like it would work.
We were, this made me think of a few months ago, my wife and I were going downtown to eat at Barvetti. And
great place.
I'm at the four-way stop right there, stop right by Barvetti, and I'm turning right because I'm going to park that way. And I don't know what snapped at me, but there were these people in the middle of the four-way stop filming TikTok videos, dancing, not letting traffic go by. And I just laid on the horn as loud as I could. And normally I don't do that, but something in me made me so mad about it.
Dude, I get it.
I just laid on my horn, and my wife got so mad at me. She was like, we're going in this restaurant right by where they're dancing. Like, they're going to see us. I'm like, good point.
I should have thought about that before I laid on the horn, but I didn't.
I said, well, hopefully they'll be gone when we come back there.
Hopefully the car will be fine.
But, it made me think of that. All right, number 3. Protected bike lanes are needed in the central business district and surrounding areas. Improvements such as bicycle and pedestrian infrastructure have positive impacts on the local economy as measured through sales and employment.
I can buy this. Okay, now bike lanes have frustrated me in the past. I can tell you this. I just got back from Spain. We talked about that. And Barcelona had... It's going to be hard for our listeners to understand what I'm talking about, but I've told several people, but it had a really different situation than I've seen in any other big city. And Barcelona's a massive city. But you had a ton of pedestrians, which is European in general, but ton of pedestrians, ton of bike, ton of bird type scooters, crazy big, everywhere, literally everywhere. Which I get, that's major cities here too, but just FYI, it's big over there too. So every block was rounded. It did not come to a corner point. Every block, if you just think like shave the corner off of every block, you had to, if you're walking down the street and you want to cross, you had to turn right and walk approximately 20, 30 feet to a crosswalk down, like right angle, right turn, before you could cross to go straight. And what it seems to do to me is it seems to take people off the corner. It increases distance between pedestrians and motor vehicles, right? And it made it a lot easier for the people driving the scooters, the mopeds, the bicycles, the cars and buses and taxis and Ubers. It gives them a specific place to look to avoid pedestrians.
Yeah.
Okay. They also had huge bike lanes, like almost the width of the actual street in a lot of high traffic areas where bird scooters, bicycles, mopeds, anything that was like, smaller in size than an actual vehicle, like a car, they would drive. And so what that seemed to do to me was increase the flow of traffic and probably make it safer. And so I could understand any policy that would encourage more foot traffic, increase safety would probably be worth doing. The problem with downtown is that, okay, right now it's better than it was when I was a kid, okay? Better than it was when I was in college. But like you have people that come downtown to work and they leave downtown and they never come back to downtown to do anything else. Like it was an absolute ghost town. 4th Street Live got put in when I was in college. It opened when I was like a freshman. And it was like unheard of to go downtown to the bars until 4th Street, right? And the Yum Center was another major inflection point that brought people downtown. Lots of concerts, lots of ball games. It at least in the immediate area, lots of restaurants, things like that. But we still have this problem, right? If there's not a concert going on midweek, or it's not U of L
Waterfront
basketball
Wednesday.
season, yeah. I mean, if it's not Derby season, or it's not,
Or not perfectly beautiful outside
yeah,
where people
nobody
walk
goes
around
down
Nulu.
there.
Yeah.
Nobody goes down there. So you need to do things to get more people to live there, and also come down for more entertainment outside of business hours.
Yeah, and he makes a point down here about building more residential. But number 4, so that one's last. But number 4 is highway removal. So I-64 from Waterfront Park to Portland needs to be removed. This will open up huge pieces of land for economic development parks and drastically improve the environment. Also, it'll just look better. So he like puts this picture up. It's not actually downtown, but like you see that and you're like, well, yeah, I mean, our skyline would look a ton better without.
Well,
but how do you move that, right? Like,
well, I think you could. It eliminates the need for a bridge if. I mean, the detour for right now would be the new bridge they built for 65. You take that up probably 4 or 5 miles, and you catch essentially Gene Snyder, which 265, and head west, and then you can pick up 64 over there. I don't know traffic flow. I'm not a civil engineer. I can't say like the traffic flow would handle, but I mean, there's been so much construction. I mean, that is the Sherman Minton Bridge, right? The Sherman Minton Bridge has been closed for construction a ton.
yeah.
I don't know how much they've invested in it, but that's unique and interesting. But that's not something that they could pull off, like just because they decided to. I mean, it's Kentucky and Indiana both have a say in that. They both invested in that bridge.
It'd be kind of, honestly.
It would be interesting. It would be interesting. It seems complicated, but
Yeah. And number 4 was build housing now that downtown's less hostile to people after you solve those 4 points.
okay, I buy that. Crime downtown has gone up. I mean, I saw I don't know if you heard, but there was some controversy in the presidential election and the kind of competing campaigns about where crime stands in the United States. There was a major publication came out that said essentially crime has decreased substantially over the last couple of years under the Biden administration and across the nation. That same study showed Louisville as one that had the single, out of all the major cities in the United States, which Louisville's probably just barely big enough to even make the list, but it had the largest increase in crime over the same period. But here's the thing.
We're going through police chiefs pretty quick.
Yeah, I know. That's a whole nother scandal. But but my point in that is the opposing campaign, I guess, came back and said, well, of course it looks like crime went down because Chicago, LA, and New York are no longer reporting. So it's like whether crime has really gone down or not, I think is up for debate.
Yeah.
The fact is, no one's arguing that Louisville's crime has gone down, right? It peaked for most cities in 2020 with riots and civil unrest and things like that, and Louisville has continued to increase. So I don't know, Ryan.
Well, I'd rather it go up and still report it than not report it at all.
I agree with that, and I just think it's hard to see housing becoming more popular in downtown Louisville anytime soon.
Yeah, I agree. Which is, if there's ever a time for it to become popular, now's the time with our housing shortage. But
there's talk of repurposing office for apartments, but in my mind, it's not been proven to me that there will be demand for those spaces. People, because there is a major issue in a lot of big cities where office is sitting empty. Mm-hmm. And there's a housing shortage, but nobody wants to live in an office converted to apartments.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like that. That's an apples and oranges. That's a square peg in a round hole.
Yeah, it'd be tough.
Yeah,
but if there's a time for it, now's the time.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. So we're a little over 30 minutes in. So
okay.
we'll go to a new fun game I've created. I think we'll keep doing these. We'll do a few of them. See how long they take us to answer. How long we talk about them. But this is just a would you rather game.
Okay.
So tell you how this game came to fruition. My wife loves asking like would you rather questions, but they're terrible. And I tell her they're terrible because the answer's so obvious every time. So she's like, well, all right, let's see how good you can come up with these. I mean, I don't know. My brain was on another level when she asked me that because I came up with 5 so fast.
For her?
Oh, just like good ones for any good questions for anybody. And she was like, dang, how'd you do that?
You
I'm
are
like,
good.
hey, I'm a genius. No, not really. Kind of stupid. But all right, we're going to do the first would you rather. So,
Okay.
would you rather never have a bun with a hot dog again? I actually already texted you this one.
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
Would you rather never have a bun with a hot
didn't
dog
answer.
again, or would you rather never have a bun with a hamburger again?
I would never. I could not eat a hot dog without a bun. So I mean, I have probably, but I'd rather do without.
So you'd rather not have a bun with a hamburger ever again?
Yes.
So I'm the other way.
Now I will say I don't order hamburgers like at fast food joints, like ever really. So I'm more of a chicken sandwich kind of guy. So that as long as that's not included,
No,
because
it's not included.
I would have a hard time with that. But like to me, like a hot dog without a bun is just weird.
You know how many times I've walked by, grabbed an extra hot dog after already eating one, just
And just ate it.
down to glizzy.
It was
Like,
cooked.
yes, yeah.
Okay, it wasn't raw,
Yeah.
at least.
But, and I'm thinking
I
like
ate a
brats too. You
burger
can
without a
have
bun.
brats without buns. They're delicious, like sausages.
You know the funniest thing was just before you text me this question the other day, I had literally that day eaten a hamburger without a bun or a cheeseburger without a bun.
which like it's
'Cause I
fine
made-
if you throw a bunch of crap on it, but basically you're just eating ground beef.
I literally just ate it with a fork and like had some little dipping sauce and that was
Pickles?
it. No pickles. It was like
I love a good
it was
spicy
the same situation.
wickle.
I ate a burger with dinner, and we had like two family of 5, so we had 2 pounds of ground beef, but she only bought an 8-pack of buns. So like when I pattied the buns up, I ended up with or when I pattied the burgers up, I had more burgers than buns.
That's when you go double.
I could have, but I made them real thick because I like thick burgers. Because I don't like them well done. I cook them.
I like
pretty
thin
medium.
and like crispy.
See, I go medium with thick. And so anyway, that's neither here nor there. But there was an extra. I ate one with dinner. I was still hungry, so I just grabbed one and threw it on the plate and ate it with a fork.
Yeah. All right. There
Which
you go.
was that day.
So you'd rather never have a bun with the hamburger again?
I'll pass on the burger.
and I'll
bun.
pass on the bun.
I'll
with
pass
the
on the
hot
burger
dog.
bun.
All right. Here's a golf one for you.
Okay.
Would you rather never miss a 3-foot putt again, or never miss a green with a wedge again?
Oh, wedge for sure.
Yeah.
Wedge for sure.
I'm
because
going 3-foot putt.
Huh?
I'm going never miss a 3-foot putt again.
Where I'm at in my game, you can probably appreciate this. I don't have very many consequential 3-foot putts.
You got to think of which ones do you miss more of.
No, you're not saying that I'm guaranteed to miss 3-foot every 3-foot putt. You're just saying I get a 3-foot gimp. See, you give me
3-foot and in, and you'll never.
and I'll never miss again.
Yeah.
But like I don't play in tournaments. I get given 3-foot putts.
All right, let's expand it to like 6 feet for you.
Well, 6 foot I'd have to think about because I can lag very reliably inside 6 feet, and like never missing another one of those would be cool. 3 foot, I feel number one, I feel like I'm gonna miss them every once in a while and be pissed off, but I'm usually gonna make them.
Yeah.
And I miss more greens with a wedge. So like it makes sense to me why you would choose what you choose, but I think it also makes sense why I would choose.
Right now, if I got to choose, I would never miss a 3-foot putt
Your
again. It would be my choice, but that's only because my wedges have been really good. So if my wedges have been bad, I'd probably go with a wedge.
Well, I'm just thinking like, here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking like you probably stick a wedge to 3 feet every once in a while and then miss a birdie putt and then you're pissed. Like you probably hit like a green and have like a 50-footer that you leave to 3 feet and then miss a par putt every once in a while. And to me, it's the difference between bogey and double bogey.
Yeah.
And so when you're difference
That's
between
a good
bogey
point.
and double bogey, like
It's a good point.
that's just kind of where I'm at in my game.
Yeah.
If I was scratch, I'd probably be different.
Yeah. Good point. All right, next one. This might be an easy one, but it was a difficult one for me and my wife. So, would you rather never have soup again or never have salad again?
Definitely pass on soup. Definitely.
you'd rather never have soup again.
Yeah,
So that means like no chili, like no white
chili
chicken
is not
chili.
a soup. Number one. Chili is not a soup.
Yeah, it is.
No, it is not.
When you go through the Whole Foods
As
little soup thing,
the
there's
Golden
chili
Spoon Awards here at Remax Premier Properties, we have a best soup and a best chili in the chili and soup cook-off.
Even if chili is not involved, I still think that's a crazy choice.
I would much rather have salad than
Never
soup.
have like
I'm not a
another
soup
clam
guy.
chowder again, a lobster
See,
bisque.
I'm not a lobster bisque or a clam chowder person. I do like
Chicken and dumplings?
I do like chicken and dumplings.
Used to go to Cracker Barrel and just get dumplings. I'd say no chicken. Just kidding.
Wow. I mean, that's a kid right there.
Yeah.
All carbs. Give me all carbs.
So good too.
Yeah, my kids eat buttered noodles. Noodles with butter.
I mean, that's good too.
I mean, it's butter, but butter sauce. I'll take butter sauce.
Yeah.
Not marinara. I'm like, no, you're having marinara. We need some vegetable in there somewhere, even though it's not good for you. No, I
I
definitely
would say
would pass on
marinara is bad for you if it's like
I'm not saying it's bad for you. I'm saying it's not good for you.
Yeah.
It's tomato based, but it's got so much stuff in it that it's just not healthy. It's not. You wouldn't call it healthy. Now, if you had a fresh tomato, I would call that good for you. If they put so much salt in marinara, it's not good for you.
all right. So we're opposite 3 times in a row.
In a row.
So-
we have not had an equivalent.
Now we're gonna go to the last one.
Okay.
Would you rather never gain weight from alcohol again, or never gain weight from sweets again? So when I say sweets, I'm talking like candy, cake, donuts, like those guilty pleasures.
I'm not a sweet eating person, so I'd say alcohol. I do have some sweets here and there, but it's isolated.
Yes, but is it isolated because of the calories?
It's isolated because I don't crave it.
So I'm opposite again. I would rather never gain weight from sweets again. And it's because, man, I love at night, like a chocolate chip cookie. I would eat 3 pieces of chocolate cake with chocolate icing every night if I knew I was never going to gain weight from it.
So, really? Okay.
And I'd probably eat a donut every morning.
I don't avoid it because of the health concern. I don't crave it, so I don't restrict myself when I want something, I have it because it's not a problem, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But like there's a lot of empty calories in alcohol. There's no volume,
There
value
is,
to
but
it.
also like how many times, like, let me ask you this.
I crave
you
a
wouldn't
beer.
drink alcohol anymore if calories didn't count, would you?
No,
But you'd
No.
probably have more sweets if the calories didn't count.
I don't think so. I don't crave the sweets.
See, I would have. That's why I chose what I did too. Like,
To me, and this is a luxury. I mean, it's not a luxury. I'm not like super duper fit, but like at my age, I feel like I have moderate expectations. I don't expect to have a 6-pack anymore. You know what I mean? Like that time in my life has passed. I stay as fit as going to the gym 5 days a week will keep me. Eating, trying to be moderately healthy when I eat, and I do indulge in the things that I like when I want them, mostly because I don't crave them a ton. I wouldn't drink any more or less alcohol if it were more or less healthy, right? And I wouldn't eat any more or less sweets if they were more or less healthy. I don't keep myself from either one, if that makes sense.
yeah.
I don't know. I just don't think
more.
about it, really.
Yeah. I got another one on here, but it's about Louisville sports, and we got listeners that aren't Louisville fans, and we've talked about Louisville enough. So
Okay. All right.
yeah, those are I have another kind of game, not really. Take
Okay.
it or leave it. We'll save this for the next episode.
Okay.
So we've been going about 45 minutes.
Well, give me the
already.
Louisville one real quick.
So the Louisville
Let's just hear
one
it.
is,
I'll be brief.
Would you rather Louisville football never have a winning season again, or would you rather Louisville basketball never win a national championship again?
Basketball. I'll pass on the national title.
As long as you get final. What if I said no Final Fours again?
That makes it a lot tougher. I will say Louisville football, and a lot of our listeners don't know this. We can revisit it real quickly. But like I was a childhood UK fan because of my family. My brother playing baseball at U of L and U of L football is what won me over.
Yeah.
I was a Kentucky basketball fan as a young child.
Knew there was something wrong with you.
Well, I know, but like that's my family. It was my family. But like I like to say that as an adult, with informed consent, I made the right choice.
Yeah.
So that's what I like to say. But the truth is, I just followed my family because that's what my grandparents loved. That's what my aunts and uncles loved. And so anyway, I've had certainly a lot of fun with U of L basketball over the years, but football is what drew me in.
Yeah.
It was Petrino 1.0, right after John L., right? And there was just a lot of excitement. It was really, you can probably take it back to the Orange Bowl kind of season where I thought we were going to have a chance at a national title. That's what really cemented my U of L fandom. Because there was a few years where I was like going to games but like I wouldn't say like I'm all in for U of L until like all this happened.
Yeah. Basically what you're saying is your family baptized you as a UK fan before you could choose, and then your confirmation was as a little.
I was confirmed a U of L fan in adulthood. But yeah, it was good. And like, so especially now, like with Brom, and I think Kelsey's going to do a great job, but Brom is a U of L guy through and through. My brother was at U of L the same time that Brian Brom was there. Like, you know what I mean? That whole family and like what they're bringing to the football program, I would choose football over basketball now. And that's kind of the choice I'm making.
Yeah, cool. All right, there we go. That's our show for today. Next show, we're going to be doing a take it or leave it. So talking about fixtures in houses. What can sellers take with them when they leave? What items are kind of up in the air sometimes. So we'll get into the weeds on that, but we'll save that for next show.
Yep. That's all the time we got for you this week. Remember, Resource Live, August 15th. If you want an invite, shoot me a note. You can catch me anywhere. Social, follow any of the accounts, any of the DMs, email, text, whatever. That works. Also, give us a follow anywhere you podcast, but specifically on Apple or Spotify. And you can catch Ryan and I on socials at jpittsrealtor or at ryanharris.re. Other than that, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you. We'll see you next week. For the J Pitts Show, I'm your host, Jay Pitts. Ryan Harris. We'll see you soon.